Hi, I'm Zobair from Kizlyar, and today we're going to be talking about the knives and their purposes. We get a lot of people asking us always questions, what knife I should buy, or I've got this knife but it doesn't really work. Well, that's why it's very important to buy what you need, not just what looks good or buying things just because the price is right. So here we got a number of knives. General thing to look for, firstly, you think of your end use. So whether you're a hunter or whether you need it for fishing or whether you need it just for a general purpose around the camp, or you need something just as a safety tool to have in the car in case you have a rollover or something like that. There are a number of different knives. Generally, the knives divide into 3 or 4 different categories. You got things like drop points, where the tip of the knife drops slightly. These are great utility knives, general purpose. Normally you can use them for skinning game. You can use it around the camp for small tasks. Always buy a knife that fits nicely in your hand. Don't buy handles that are too big for you because your hands will simply get too tired after a while of using it. The second thing is always try to think, if you are going to be using a knife for heavy work, it's ideal to buy a knife that's got a bit of a guard on it because that protects your finger from sliding onto the knife. This is another style of knife. This is a utilitarian purpose. This is called a poker, more of a Northern European design. These are just all-arounder type knives, mainly for camp purposes, where you don't have to put a lot of pressure on things. Food preparation, carving, can even be used as a steak knife. The most standard design of knife for a hunting knife is what they call a clip point. These knives are usually fairly thick on the spine, got a decent guard, got a good size handle, and the steel is normally quite hard on them, so they can take a little bit of a beating. And the last style of knife is the heavy-duty military style knives, which are purely designed for very heavy use, outdoor use. Also, they're very popular with hunters because they got a long cutting edge, makes it work a little bit easier. Always when you're buying this quality of knives, go for a better quality of steel, and always look for good grip handles, nice amount of guard to protect your fingers, and also the shape of it. Don't just buy something that's very long just because it looks good. Think of the designs. You can get the military knives in different designs as well. There's also something that's coming out in the market now is this style of neck knives, what they're called. These are a great idea because they're compact. They're great to have on you around the camp. They can be attached, we can either wear them on your neck or you can attach them to your belt. The reason they're a little bit better than the folding knives is because you've got a solid blade, they're not going to fall down, you can do reasonably heavy work on them. This style of neck knife by Kizlyar Supreme, it's got this hole in the middle, so it just frees up your hand. If you're doing something, if you're tying up rope, you can actually hang that on one of your finger, frees your hand so you can do your work, but the knife is always there on you. And another feature of this kind of knives is ideal to get high-vis handles if you're out in the bush, so it doesn't blend into the background so you don't lose your knife. That's also something to think about. The final thing to think about when you're buying a knife are the sheaths. The sheath is what keeps your knife safe, number one, which is very important. And secondly, that's what keeps a knife from going missing. So if you were buying an expensive knife, you don't want it to just drop out. There's a number of different types of sheath materials used. Some of the most common ones are obviously leather, which is a classic type, and then there's plastic. A lot of the outdoor people prefer plastic because they're easier to clean. The knife goes in, once it comes out, you can wash out all the gunk and dirt straight with a hose with a very low maintenance. If you do like more of a classic look and more of a stylish look, go for the leather, but always check your sheath to make sure the knife fits properly. The stitching is well done, it's got rivets so the knife is not just simply going to poke through. And the most important, that there's enough pressure so the knife is not going to fall out. And ideally, it's got a secondary securing clip on it, so it sits there nice and tight. And if you got them on your belt, if you run or if you walk, it's not just going to slide off and it's nice and secure. I'm Zobair from Kizlyar Knife, and remember, always buy a knife that you need for the purpose that you need it for, and always watch 4-Wheel Drive TV for the best tips.